Alright, so this is how I make the inserts, the end piece right here, for all my goose calls. Now you can see this one's a bit different. It's it's a new idea I came up with, just a new look. Looks better. I shortened it up some so it sounds better too. It's a bit harder to break over, which means you don't have the weird rollovers, which I always got. So, anyways, start off with a block of, I think this is maple. Drill the 39/64 hole through the entire thing because my gut set that I use, they're 39/64 all the way around. It fits right in there pretty snug. Anyways, slide it onto this right here, this expansion mandrel, which I got at Webfoot Custom Calls. He sells a whole bunch of call making stuff. I'll put a link down at the bottom, but it's a hell of a lot nicer than that wooden mandrel that I was using, because I used to turn probably about 6 or 7 inserts to get one that would work and actually fit correctly. But since I got this, I've messed up about 3, and none of them have been due to the mandrel. It's been to me messing them up. So slide that on there, and then tighten it up with an Allen wrench, which I need to go. Okay, so tighten this up here. Loosen it a little bit to fit it on better, but alright. So check to make sure this isn't going to hit like you do with all of them. And that wasn't locked down. A real easy and fast way to do this is just pick out a corner, because the corner is the furthest part out, and go around, and hopefully you pick the longest corner and it won't hit, just like that. It's a lot easier than trying to get it close and then backing it off every 2 seconds. So make sure it's set to the right speed, because if it's not too slow, it's gonna catch and slip all the time. And what I found, if it's too fast, it's really hard to control it. So set it somewhere in between. You get the feel for it. Let's start it up. So take the buffing gouge again, bring it down the sides, take the corners off. Alright, so I found what works really well for taking it down a lot is this, I can't even remember what it's called now. I'm sorry, I'm blanking. I'll tell you in the end. See how close we are to take all the corners off. It looks like I got them all. Yeah, I think that's all of them. Okay, so this is where, take the calipers again. I gotta take this out actually. Alright, so you take the length of this again, like I showed you with the last video. Mark it. Alright, like I said, don't worry about making that one too deep because you're going to cut that off anyways. So, start cutting. Alright, so it's all rounded out. Got this sharpened up again. Base cut's nice, base cut's good here. Just something you think about. I did eyeball this and it's come out really close. The problem with that is when I was cutting barrels, I used to do that a lot, and I found that I cut a lot of them too big because I'd set them back about, a quarter inch or so. And when I eyeballed it, it would come out about a quarter inch too big. I thought I was cutting in the right spot. Well, I wasn't. And it came out wrong size, made it sound funny. So, just something to think about. You should probably use some of these calipers here, like I said before. Check it. See how close you really are. That's about as close as you can get. So, measure the highest point on the insert, which is that right there, that little ridge, and I leave a little bit of room for sanding. Always nice to do that. So, check it, and only got a little bit more to go. So we'll start cutting that down. Alright, so something that I do, I found it helps me a lot, is you start out at a point where you know it's a bit smaller than what you're going to be cutting. So that way you can get the general width of it right here, and if you screw up, you can just back it up to the point where it is the right width. So you see right about there. So I'm going to bring the whole thing down to this point right here on the call. I don't know if it's that visible on the camera, but you can tell with calipers. Alright, there we go. Now remember, we left a little bit of room for error, so if you take it down a little bit more, it's not bad. Just try to keep it about where you thought it should be. Yeah, so I have enough room for a little bit of sanding. Alright. So, from here, I'm going to take this portion right here, the tenon, which is the part that actually fits into the caul. I'll mark that. I'm going to start bringing that down. Alright, so that's perfect right there. So I just need to bring the rest of the caul, or the rest of the tenon I mean, down to that point. Yeah, that's perfect. I'm just going to bring it down with sandpaper past that.